The fact that you have gone to his home means at that particular moment he is the king and you respect him. I want to thank the people of Terego East and Manio Okolo and the BDBD in Yumbe, in Koboko, in the whole of Western Nile for offering land to our brothers and sisters who are distressed in their country. I want to thank you. As your representative, I want you to join me in guaranteeing that these people will remain peaceful as long as there's a problem in their area. You should feel safe, and we shall not use the word refugee here. We shall use it as our brothers and sisters.
I sat down just to show one thing. These refugees, these NGOs, these UNHCR, all of them are coming to that poor place. The person sitting down there is me, poor. I'm sitting on my stone. Because I'm there, you've come to me. I'm the king. Respect me. Don't look at my stone. My stone is my throne. It's my throne, telling people that you are now here, you must respect me for what I am. I even said it. If I had a tree over me, that tree is my palace. So when you come, respect people for what they are. Respect the landlords. That's the message I was telling them. Respect the local people. Because we are there at that time, because of the land offered by those landlords. If they don't offer the land, we will not be there on the 20th of June. That was my message. Nobody is small. Because of the chair on which he's sitting, because of the clothing he's having, no. We are all extremely good partners in solidarity with the refugees. That was my message. I want to thank our people for having received the refugees from the DRC, mostly from DRC, from Sudan, and elsewhere, Somalia, in our area in West Nile. This is a commendable humanitarian activity, and I always say they are the biggest donors. People have been thinking of talking of donors, but the biggest donors are our own people who have sacrificed the biggest asset, which is land, free of charge to receive their brothers who are in hardship. This is something very historical, which will be remembered for the rest of time immemorial. Having said that, by the time the refugees came, our people were in certain economic and social states. The refugees did not come in order for us to benefit per se economically. No. We offered our land. We asked them to come because of our humanitarian spirit. That is what we should emphasize. But of course, when they're in the country, they have an impact on our services. They have an impact on our land, on the hospitals and education. And sometimes these are negative or overwhelming. And therefore they need to get some benefits. So the benefits we ask from the partners, development partners, from the UNHCR and the international community, and in respect to the impact of the refugee settlement in our areas and on our services. We're not asking for a charity. So to me, that is how we should look at the services. They should provide enough for the refugees to make sure that the impact in our services is minimized as far as the negative aspect is concerned. And at the same time, make sure that our people are benefited. Now, having said that, I am also aware that the refugee program in Uganda should now be for skilling. It should be more for skilling the refugee community, and to a greater extent also the local community. impacting skills so that the people, both the locals and the refugees, find themselves in a better position. That is my emphasis. And that is what I appeal to the local, to the international donors and communities to do. How do we improve that? I want the local authorities to play more role. Look, when these NGOs, development partners, and they come, and so forth, they come to provide the services. There are regulations under which they come. And the most common regulation is the NGO, the national non-governmental organization law, which clearly stipulates that whatever these people are coming to do, whether in the refugee camps or in the communities, is programmed. And this should be registered. The activities should be registered at the district level, the sub-county level, and the local level where the activity is going to take place. This is where our local leaders have failed. They've failed to emphasize this and then enforce it. I want them to emphasize and enforce it. I want them to demand the reports from these people, not the report of the number of meetings they've held, the number of activities which they've undertaken in those local areas, and the results. If an NGO or a development partner's activities are negative, they should ask them to leave. If they are positive, they should encourage them to do more, both in the refugee areas and the local communities. The plans that these NGOs and development partners must have a local component for the local community, enforceable. These are demands of the law. Otherwise, our people are not demanding for charity. They are demanding for accountability for those who get money in the names of the refugees and the local communities. Because this is what they do. When the NGOs and development partners go out there, they say they are coming to administer their services to the local community and the refugees and the people to see that this is being done at the local authorities. Please, I appeal to our local authorities. I mean the districts, the sub-county local governments, and the LCs to make sure that these people account to them. They are not above them.
Yeah, Honorable, if you look at the huge number of urban refugees who are not catered for, and as State Minister for Lands and Urban Development, we already see Arua City demanding that they should be, considered, because 22% of them in Arua City, plus other foreigners, are not catered for in the budget.
Yes. No, I think that is a big omission. It is now for the cities to push for these refugees. First, to be recognized as such, as refugees in the communities. But secondly, for us as an urban administrator, we don't look at the population in terms of you are a refugee or you are not a refugee. We look at the number of the population that has increased in the urban area or in the city. Once it has increased, it automatically means must increase the services. Must increase the roads, we must increase the health centers, we must increase the educational facilities and what is provided for in those areas. We must do that. It's a matter of right. That's why the whole Department of Urban Development was established. We look at that aspect. But specifically for the refugees, because of the impact they have in the urban areas, and therefore the urban areas need more support from central government and from the donors, then we must also address that as, again, a specific issue within the urban areas.
Why? Because there was a time when all these people in West Nile were in that Sudan. All of them. A few remained around. The others were in the Democratic Republic of Congo. So what we're doing here is paying back, and paying back with a smile. want to thank you. Continue this good relationship. My only advice to the refugees: leave conflict where you came from, because you came looking for peace. You came to look for peace. You didn't come to look for conflict. I hear some of you are fighting along tribes, along clans. Here in Uganda, in the camps. But your camps, your clans and tribes are in Sudan. They are in here and sea. Why don't you go back and fight there? And when you are here, maintain peace. To the rest of the community who are administering the refugees, we've got the partners, we've got the donors. I want to thank you for everything that you have done and you are doing. But I want you to recognize and respect one donor called the landowner in Mariokolo, the landowner in Terego, the landowner in Yube, the landowner in Koboko, the landowner in Kirianongo, the landowner wherever they are. Those are the biggest donors. And some of you who are partners who have come, you've come with charitable considerations. And we thank you. But a number of times you have become as looking for jobs, employees. Not necessarily charitable organization. Let me explain. And this goes to you, the commissioner. When you are doing functions in these refugee camps, recognize the local leaders, the local governments. Work in tandem with them. These are the people who take care of the rest of the people. And when the time comes to recruit, you have a policy of 30% of the people being considered, or 30% of benefits being given to the local people. That 30% must include the issue of recruitment. At every level. I will be happy in West Nile to see 30% of the camp commandants are people who are locally here. I will be happy to see 30% at least of the assistants are here. I don't like this habit of only saying 100% of the sweepers are from here. I'm aware some jobs have been advised for replacement of employees in these areas here. And the adverts are going on. The interviews are going to be done in Kampala. And you will not be surprised if some of the expectants are already here, warming for those jobs, and yet the interviews have not been done. It's not a very good thing. It's not a good way of treating a donor. So please, let us share in the spirit of helping the refugees. It's absolutely necessary. That's the way to pick harmony. The NGOs, most of them call it the partners. If you are operating under the NGO Board Act, the NGO Board is very clear. Before you come to operate in the camp or in any location, you must register yourself with the district. Your presence will be recognized. You must register your presence with the sub-county. And finally, with the authorities, that is the LCs and so on, in the various areas where you're operating. That's the law. That's the law of Uganda. It's not Uganda Kania's law. Why don't we follow it? You find NGOs who are operating here and they simply disappear. And part of the mistake is for you, the local leaders. I've always told you, your government, your authority. You don't want to implement your authority. What do you expect? What do you expect? So please, assert yourself. My final comment is, I want to thank the international community for recognizing the present, the refugee policy of Uganda. It's a model in the entire world. We are very grateful for that recognition. But the reciprocal calls are not adequate to that recognition. The recognition is more verbal. We expect the international community, through you, UNHCR, and others, to make sure that what Uganda has done for refugees, the refugee policy, is more appreciated